2026 is the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, of the birth of the United States of America. Revolution Untold uncovers the overlooked stories of the cradle of democracy, of the people that shaped a nation in Williamsburg, Virginia. The past is not complete until all its voices are heard. This is Revolution Untold.
On October 24, 1771, the local Williamsburg newspaper, the Virginia Gazette, published the obituary for Mrs. Catherine Blaikley, an eminent midwife who, in the course of her practice, brought upwards of 3,000 children into the world. To have delivered 3,000 children during her time as a midwife is remarkable. Having been a midwife for nearly 4 decades, Catherine Blaikley must have delivered 1 or 2 babies per week, an incredible feat that demonstrates just how important and respected she was in Williamsburg.
But my life was much more than just helping women deliver their children. My life was a story of knowledge, success, and, above all, independence. I was born in the 1690s in York County, Virginia, where I spent most of my life. In my 20s, I married William Blaikley, a wealthy man who owned land throughout the Virginia colony. Together, Mr. Blaikley and I had 5 children, 3 daughters and 2 sons, but sadly, neither of our sons survived childhood. So, when my husband, Mr. Blaikley, died in 1736, we had no adult sons to inherit his wealth. Instead, Mr. Blaikley left most of his wealth to me, including land in distant Powhatan and Brunswick counties, alongside property in Williamsburg. Now a wealthy and landed widow, I began to work tirelessly as a midwife, an occupation I held until my last breath.
Midwives were vital in 18th century Virginia, providing essential medical care to the community. Midwifery was dominated by women in colonial America, and this profession gave colonial women a rare opportunity to earn a living independently. Women living in colonial America had several ways they could become midwives. They could watch and assist other midwives, learn under a male physician, attend lectures and dissections, and read books designed specifically to be used by women practicing midwifery. After completing their training, midwives could be called on for medical assistance for a number of issues.
We midwives helped women in childbirth, but we also provided before and after birth care and helped others as needed too. As a midwife, I helped deliver a child nearly every week, while also using my knowledge to provide additional care for women. While I lived in Williamsburg and practiced as a midwife in the city throughout my career, I also helped women in neighboring rural areas. In one of my first years as a midwife, I provided Mr. Carter Burwell, a prominent Virginia politician and wealthy plantation owner, with my services at Carter's Grove on the James River. By providing my services to such a prominent family so early in my career, I ensured my practice would be successful and impactful, reaching women beyond the confines of the city.
Catherine Blaikley was not just a midwife, she was also an active member of the local economy. Her profession gave her a level of financial independence throughout her widowhood, rare for women during her time. In 1769, Blaikley placed an advertisement in the local Williamsburg newspaper, the Virginia Gazette, for a pocketbook she had lost. Though an upsetting inconvenience for Blaikley, her advertisement is useful for us to understand Blaikley's economic activities.
Lost. A red Morocco pocketbook, containing about 7 or 8 pounds in paper money, chiefly in 40 and 20s, some silver and sundry receipts, and other papers and memorandums. The paper money was folded up in a piece of paper, which was a memorandum about some drugs. Whoever brings the book and its contents to me shall have 10 shillings reward. Catherine Blaikley.
Blaikley's purchases and money in her pocketbook reveal her active role in the Williamsburg marketplace, but her economic independence extended well beyond her basic purchases.
While midwifery gave me a steady income, I also independently managed the properties I inherited from my husband. A few years after my husband's death, I even decided to sell my inherited property in Brunswick County and helped oversee the sale of the land.
Catherine Blaikley was an economically independent woman. She had her own occupation, played an active role in the Williamsburg economy, and managed her wealth and properties. But Blaikley also acted on her own behalf in her local legal system.
In the spring of 1742, my brother, John Kaidyee, died. He named me executrix of his will, so I oversaw making the inventories of his estate and conducting his wishes, including how to divide his wealth. But not everyone was happy with my brother's will. Mr. Peter Hay believed that my brother John had intended to leave him an inheritance, but I refused, as it was not in John's will. So, in 1743, Mr. Hay took me to court. Our lawyers presented our cases, but the decision was left to the jury. Mr. Hay won, and I was forced to pay him from the estate of my brother. Though I was unsuccessful, I was still able to act as an independent woman, defending myself in a court of law.
Catherine Blaikley fought for herself, claiming her independence. In doing so, she embodied the spirit of freedom and liberty that would soon herald in the birth of a new nation. When the Virginia Gazette claimed that Catherine Blaikley delivered 3,000 babies in her lifetime, the editors encapsulated the incredible knowledge, influence, and respect of Catherine Blaikley in her community. Her profession in midwifery allowed her to gain economic independence and great respect for providing vital medical services to her community. Fittingly, to this day, a reconstruction of her house in Williamsburg, a property she owned and managed herself, bears the name of Mrs. Catherine Blaikley.
I was a woman of great independence, and through this spirit of self-determination and freedom, I delivered the generation of young independence seekers who would fight for and found a new, free nation.
By sharing these stories, we remember more fully, understand more clearly, and expand the story of the American Revolution. Revolution Untold is generously supported by the Williamsburg 250 Commission, William and Mary Strategic Cultural Partnerships, and the Society of 1918 at William and Mary, and is made possible in part by a grant from VA 250 Commission in partnership with Virginia Humanities.